Hello, continuation from the branches of philosophy. Then we shall be looking at the philosophical school of thoughts. The philosophical school of thoughts, we have many of them. The first one is idealism. The idealism is one of the oldest school of thoughts in philosophy, which is dated back to the time of Plato. Those who practice idealism as a school of thoughts in philosophy are called idealists. So the idealists, they hold on to their own notion that what is real actually exists from the mind. To the idealist, it means that the ultimate reality of man existence and man behavior could be understood through the mind. It means everything that we want to do, either good or bad, it actually comes from the mind. So to them, if you are exchanging good practices to your fellow human being, it is coming from your mind. And if you are also practicing bad character that is not accepted in the society, that is also coming from the mind. So if you want to understand a whole human being, try and work on that person's mind, because that is the beginning of his life according to the idealists. The second philosophical school of thought is called realism. Realism as a school of thought in philosophy could be traced to Aristotle. It means that Aristotle is the father of realism. This school of thought opined that knowledge, reality, and value exist side by side with independent of human mind. It means that when we talk of realism, the people that practice realism are called the realists. So to the realists, they believe that knowledge, the reality of life, and value are independent of human mind. Meaning, if you are talking about reality, knowledge, and value, you take it away from humanity. Rather, you look at both of them side by side. And also the third one, that is the third school of thought, is called naturalism. And the people that are believing in this school of thought are called naturalists. So the philosophers under the naturalism are J.J. Rousseau, J.H. Pestalozzi, and Herbert Spencer. They believe that everything that is real can only be found in the nature. Everything that is real can only be found in the nature, meaning any other thing that is not found physically according to the naturalist, it is not real. So to the naturalist, when you talk about spirits, when you talk about some other metaphysics knowledge, To them, it is not real. To the naturalism or naturalist school of thought. So to them, they believe that everything that is real has to be found in the nature. That is their own thinking. And also we have another school of thought called pragmatism. Pragmatism, this is a philosophical school of thought that has an opinion that interaction of man and his environment is determined by individual sense and experience. It means that to this school of thought, for a human to be viewed generally, you look at that person with his own experience, with his environment. If somebody is behaving the way you like, don't ascribe that character to that person according to the pragmatism. Rather, ascribe the person character to his environment, because to them, if not for that person's environment, he or she wouldn't have behaved in that manner. Example, if you go to some places that are holier than some other places, it is not because they want to be holier than the other people. Rather, the environment at which they are being given birth to is giving them such opportunity. Why, if you have some people that are into some character that are wayward, or characters that are not accepted or acceptable in the society, it is not because they want themselves not to be accepted by society. Rather, the environment at which they found themselves has led them into such character. So that is what pragmatism is all about. That it is all about individual sense and experience in relation to that person's environment. Then the last school of thought is called existentialism. Existentialism, this is a school of thoughts that talks about those things that we feel and touch are actually real in life. To them, whatever you feel and you can touch, that is what is real in life. Meaning, if you can touch the world, to the existentialism, the world is real. If you can touch some other thing that you can feel such, that thing is also real. Meaning, we can feel air on our body. To existentialism, air is real. But anything that we cannot feel the presence and we cannot touch, according to the existentialism, such things are not real philosophically. So after looking at the school of thought in philosophy, then let us look at reasons why we study philosophy. Number one, it is to appreciate the existence of life. Number two, to think beyond what is perceived and known. Number three, it is to establish the standard for judging human conducts and ensure clearer understanding of human assumptions. Number 4, it assists in the development of attitude and tolerance for other people's views. Number 5, it assists human beings to think not for today but for tomorrow's challenges and the solutions to the challenges. Meaning, in philosophy, you don't think about today alone. Rather, you think about what will happen tomorrow and what are the challenges that can come tomorrow. How will you provide solutions to the challenges that are coming tomorrow? And number 6, it gives insight into the future. Philosophy gives insight into the future, either the future that is known to you or that is not known to you. And number 7, it inculcates understanding of immediate environment. Philosophy will let you know your immediate environment and how you can relate with people in your environment. You might be a god, or let me say somebody that you keep yourself when it comes to some areas, maybe pertaining to religion, but that does not mean that any other person that is not religious is not a human. So philosophically, you think about your environment, about this person is good, I am bad. I am good, that person is bad. How can we now relate to each other? Because he or she is bad today, he or she might be better than myself tomorrow. That is philosophically. Then the last one, it teaches clearer interactions among people. How can you interact with people? Under philosophy, we like to chip in something here that you are meant to relate with everybody in society philosophically, because in philosophy there is nothing you can do. If you are a learned person, you should have somebody that is not learned as your friend. You should have a carpenter as your friend, a bricklayer, a welder. You should have a criminal, if possible, as your friend. You should also, so in all realms, your friend must come from all categories. So if you are a God conscious person, if all your friends are also in that realm, one way or the other, you will not learn from those people that are not godly, because you need to learn their own character too. But don't let me go far into that. So all these are the reasons why we study philosophy. But when you now relate philosophy to business, to life, to some other things, we also have some reasons attached to the study of the philosophy when it comes to business and real life and some other aspects. When you look at philosophy being attached to education, you will have the reasons for studying that. But the reason why philosophy is being studied as a course, that is what I've just mentioned here. So apart from that, we also need to look at some other aspect of philosophy, and that is tagged symbolizing statement logically. How do we symbolize statement logically under philosophy? So symbolic philosophy or logic is the method of applying symbols to logic statements for brief understanding. So when you look at what you have here, by your left stand you have statements, by the right you have symbols. So the statement that comes with and conjunction, you have the symbol by the right, while the other statement that talks about or and this conjunction, you have the symbol by the right. Then the other statement that is called not or negation, you also have the same symbol that looks like a spiral. You have another statement called implies, you have this symbols by the right. You have another statement called if and only if, you have the symbol in front of it. You have joint denial, you have the symbol and you have equivalent. So the symbol of equivalent, you also have it in front of the statement called equivalence.